Hi everyone and welcome to a mental skills discussion with me, Coach Micah Babel. I'm a former top 30 WTA pro player and I want to talk about goal setting today. Coco Gauff just won the second title of her career, and of course the question comes up, as always, when a young player like her does something really fantastic. Will she be number one? Is she going to become number one in the world? To me, that's the wrong question to ask, and I know that Coco at some point said she wants to be the greatest of all times. And that is fine. Say that. Dream big, achieve big. You have to have pretty lofty goals if you want to get anywhere. I call those goals, however, dream goals. The fact if you're putting a number to your goal makes it an outcome goal. And outcome goals are pretty hard to track. Where are you in the process of getting where you want to go? There's nothing really measurable. There's nothing really timeable because you compare yourself to other players, other athletes, other people, and you have zero control over them. So that is the problem with outcome goals. The better question to ask, and I know that Coco Gauff and her team asks that every day, is what do I have to do to become a better player? And they know for sure about performance and process goals. So a performance goal would be, for instance, I need to get 75% of my first serves in if I want to compete with players ranked around XYZ. 75, 80% of my ground strokes need to be within 3 feet of the baseline. I'm making these numbers up. I haven't really looked that closely into the inches that that ground strokes are away from the baseline. But after studying the people that you want to compare yourself to, because that's what you're doing when you're saying, I want to be number 1 or 2 or 3. That's fine if you say that. But you then want to get into what are the performance markers that they hit. Because I think a lot of people think, oh yeah, number 1, that's great. But what really gets into all of that? The consistency that these players have of year in, year out, performing at their highest on all surfaces, staying injury-free ideally. That is what it takes to become number 1. And that is what Coco Gauff and her team, that's what they're studying, and that's what they're then using to set goals that are specific, that are measurable, that are achievable, that are relevant, and that are timeable. So let's go back to the example of 80% of first serve. It's very specific. Is it measurable? Absolutely. Is it achievable? Very much so. Relevant? Oh, yep. And timeable in a match. So that is a performance goal. Now, the process goal is the actual process of how do I achieve that. For instance, I need to add more spin. That is a very specific step. Instead of going full flat out with 100% of what I can hit, I am just taking some pace off and I'm going to give it way more spin. I need to load more with my legs. I need to toss the ball higher, whatever it is. So give it a second and think about one thing that you want to improve when you go out and play matches. What do you have to do? So for instance, one thing that I work on with the player that I'm coaching is you cannot hit a winner before you have put 3 balls in the court. Is that measurable? Absolutely. Is it specific? Yep, it is. Is it achievable, relevant? Yeah, absolutely. So now how do you do that? Well, I have to add more topspin, and in order to get more topspin, I got to use my legs a lot more. So that then is the process goal. The benefit of performance and process goals are that you can literally check them off. Check them off. All right, so you can set short-term goals, mid-term, long-term goals. And you set these milestones that you can hit while you're actually improving. And you're taking a lot of pressure off yourself by not making it all about this number. 1. Number 1 in the region in juniors. I want to be the top player in my club. Whatever it is. Doesn't matter whether you're world-class or more a recreational player. So now when you're going out there, set goals. Set process and performance goals and make sure that they're really manageable so that at the end of the day you have something to review, and that will then formulate the goal that you have in your next lesson, match, or whatever it is. If I achieved my goal, great. I can either continue to work on that to solidify it, or if I think I mastered this, I can move on to the next skill. And that is how people get better. And whether Coco Gauff will become number 1 or number 2 or number 3 in the world, greatest of all times, I really don't know.